Okay, just want to run through some of the so-called technical analysis using these two channels. Also want to talk about the candlesticks and I guess all sorts of stuff. But you know, there's such an industry built around these people um, doing technical analysis and maybe not trading it. So some of the books I read, I met people that told me, well, you know, that guy doesn't even trade. They're technical analysts. Because the risk of putting the trade on is kind of a dirty business. I'm going to get in here. Oh, really? What if you're wrong? Okay, well, that's just not a normal. I mean, that's what you expect in normal life. Like, dude, that car you bought is a lemon, and but in this scheme that I'm doing here is I'm buying a fleet of cars, and some of them are lemons. So yeah, it's about the small order, the power of cushioning market swings by using small tickets. So if you're wrong, you're just wrong in increments, right? It's about not a perfect entry system because you can get a nice entry there, but when the markets move like this happens to be the New Zealand versus CAD closing spread of 20 pips. Now I see people are trading this apparently. I hear about these currency pairs. I didn't even know they existed. To hold this trade over the weekend or the close of day, because close of day you've only got a few minutes to freak out, and probably the spread might even go wider in Asia than it just closed here at the end of the thing here. So you're like, okay, well, you know what? We've touched the end of the channel there. There's my target finally hit, and you could have done this trade, and it happens over and over. But these channels don't last forever. I can see a bunch of different strategies that would have made money here. Things, as I'm sure you've heard me rant about all these tops you come bottom thing. That is true. Support becomes resistance, and support becomes support. So what do you do? This is the big conundrum. People are just completely, what do I do then? Do it all. Okay, this is another thing that people are not ready for. Is you have to have it all. Like look at if the car manufacturers could come out with a car that was just like, dude, this is it. Now, obviously Ferrari has a few Ferraris, but they're like, no, this is a niche car. This car does one thing. Car's not good in the snow. I mean, who's living in Alaska driving a Ferrari? Come on, totally impractical. And you're going to need big tires. So if you're a swing trader, you're going to need big SUV. Okay, you don't care about. You can take a pothole, dude. But if you're going to be in a Ferrari and you're going to be a sniper and blah, 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 if it's windy, okay, if you're a sniper and it's windy, you can't snipe when the market's screaming, can you? Or maybe you are. Maybe you're on the 30-second chart. And I tell you what, forget the 1-minute chart. When the market's on fire and you got your finger on the trigger, you can trade the 30-second chart. Now, there are people that can do that, I'm sure. But some of us want to swing trade it. And I said this is about swing trading. I'm just going to publish this. Somebody wanted me to write a north and south script for the Oanda, so I wrote a swing script, and I'll show it to you here. We're going to get in at a ridiculous price. I made these last for a week now, so these orders are good for all next week. So when I come into Monday, these tickets will still be here, so they're going to survive the weekend. Because somebody asked me about that once too. The brokers. Somebody said the brokers don't like it when you do this, but this is cracking me up. So here's the big, also the news about Brexit and all that has the pound, and the dollar's just getting crushed around the planet here. So where am I at here? Okay, this Oanda counts a little. So I got filled just on the close. I wrote these the last hour the market was closing. I threw them in, and I'm in, damn it. I'm short this pound, and I'm under by $2, which is kind of like the spread. The closing spread is so brutal. So yeah, I got in the pound yen. So this script that I just wrote is kind of good for the pound yen. What we're going to do is get in about, okay, so I'm just going to put it under this FIFO thing. I call this FF, FIFO, buy limits, sell limits, just two scripts. Now these are double clicks, pre-written entry levels. So everything's predefined here. Let's go through the list. This is the buy section. Unfortunately, I did not change the sizing to this martingale idea. Just a linear martingale, I guess you call it. If there's such a thing, we're just getting in fatter and fatter. Also, the broker's forcing us to trade like that. Which I thought, since our exits supposedly don't have to be anything particular, I could make this the scalp at the bottom, but I'm not. Because some people, because this right here, right, I'm going hard stop, hard take profit. First, we're in down here. We're going to make $1. We're going to make $1 here, 10 pips. 20 pips down. We're getting in again to make 30 pips with a ghastly 100 pip stop. Not good, but it's a small ticket. Once again, we get in fatter. So this is the scenario we're looking for, is the market comes down into these tickets. It's filling the buy. Bam, bam, bam. Maybe it only gets to here. It can't hit 14 or we're out. All right, so we have a stop here. Master stop at 14 hard on all these tickets. It's filling it up. So on the way out, what's it going to look like? Well, on the way out, it's going to go like this. You're going to make, on this, you're getting an 80 pips deep. You're risking, and you could do the math on what this whole bank would cost if they blow it out to 14 and take out this whole rack. And then you could just rewrite this. All you have to do is make this get in 30 pips above, 30 pips, 30 pips, right? See, the scenarios are endless. So the market comes flying down in, fills to the 80. I mean, you're risking 60 pips here on this one. And you're risking 40, 20. I'm sorry, 60, 80 pips risk on this ticket. So as the risk goes up, the size goes down. I would say it's probably better to put like a French curve in here and just say, or a logarithmic scale, and go, we're going to get in 20, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100. So it's going to get not only the size going up, but you're putting in less risk on these top tickets. So you're really looking for the market to kind of come down and have this nice squish down, and it's getting in pretty heavy there, and then the exits. So the best trade on here, if you don't get stopped out of here with this 20 pip stop at the bottom, the ultimate scenario is the market comes down into here. Comes rocketing back up. The market's here when you drop it. Say the market's trading right here when you drop that. Comes to here. Goes 10 pips above where you're at when the rack was laid. You've now made 1,300 pips on a very large position. That's a good trade. Now that's what I call the spike trade. You're right here. You drop that rack. The market comes down, comes back, slightly above. That is one scenario. That is true. That's one scenario. So it's scenario based. What kind of bounce are we looking for? A dead cat bounce. It's going to keep going down. Okay, so when it goes sideways, what do? Put on a hedge. If you see markets barely moving, put on a hedge or put on a directional trade. If you see a slightly bullish body, a small body that's green in your classic candlestick charts, start selling. Just start selling, man. You don't know if it's going to continue, but guess what? There's not a lot of people buying it. Could go down. Very high probability trend trade. Don't need an indicator. Don't need anything. You just need the smallest amount of data. Coming, it's like the guys that go hiking, it's kind of like, like karate. I don't need a bunch of like weaponry. I'm gonna punch you. I'm ready to go. Naked trading. I got a trade plan. Let's go. And of course here, if you wanted to come in the United States, you're going to have to go into another currency, or you're going to just have to go 7K, 8K. I mean, this is going to get to be a 58K ticket, but the labor saving device of this is you double click that, you walk away, you're done for the week. But that it's different if you're not trading at this broker, because if you are in a broker that lets you place one tickets, you put in racks. You could put it in the same weekly rack, this rack, every day. So you have 5 of those racks. As the market's dropping, it's going to pick up into that, because this is a retracement scenario script. We also have, this is pure limit trading. This is not any market orders. This is just putting in a trap for the market to come down into retrace. Now, if it only nicks the top of that, surely you are risking, this is the end of the world stop for this. If it's only coming in and probing this, then when this gets to 10, you picked up, right? You picked up this. This is why Ryan Brown talks about, well, yeah, dude, if you put a wide stop and eventually, yeah, it's a lot easier for the market to dip down 40 pips here and do a bounce house. It comes down 40 pips, retraces, never sees your insane 100 pip stop on this one, 120 pip stop on that. You pick up a 3K, 10 pips above where you're at when you drop it. So here's when you drop it. It comes down, it tags you, it comes up 10 pips above where you're at. That's what this number is. So to edit these and write these is, I've back tested these. I'm back testing trade plans. I'm not trying to curve fit the market. When I say back testing these, I can back test these on a computer now, where it just keeps churning. Every 8 hours is throwing out the same blind limit trading plan. It's a real trade plan. This is the trade. There is no, oh, well, what's the stop? The stop's there. There is no, what's the criteria? There is no criteria other than 8 hours has gone by and it's going to put a rack in. So this is what before my computer blew up, that was what I was doing. And the computer wasn't fast enough even to really do the kind of psychoanalysis I wanted to do, where I just go, okay, let's try it like that. Okay, then get those set up and then go to the market and say the guppy trades in the 300 pip range. Let's just let this thing drop orders every 8 hours, on something. I don't have to even do that. It's just about saving time. I know what I want to do. Let's just have somebody or something do it. And at this point, I don't really want to, nobody's, I figure life's a do-it-yourself project. I'm not trying to, if you showed somebody this thing because you're like, oh, this guy looks like he needs help, he's broke. Here, do this. Is he going to be able to do it? Is he going to have time to look at it? Is he going to believe it's possible? So I got into this. Somebody put a Discord link on my YouTube channel, so I went in there and I thought, what's this about? And I thought it was somebody trying to sell me this Anton Creel silly course. That's just so silly, It's like $2,900, and he's going to tell you about Brett Wood's agreement. Like that's going to help me trade the guppy this week? What do I care? Do I not have to know the compression ratio of my car to drive it? No. Why are people making this so complicated? So they can sell you a course. This is why they have tuition at the universities, okay? They could teach you what you need to know in 1 year, but they have to drag it out to 8 years because they're like, well, we have a staff here, and let's just see. Now, sit down, class. Let me, if when I was a kid, they had these calculators for $300 and stuff. Now he's like, oh, can you bring a calculator to? Well, why not? Can I bring a calculator when I'm out in the real world? Like, no, you have to. If you can't make it, look at. We can't make. Not everybody's going to be a plumber. Not everybody's going to be a scientist. Not everybody's going to be a candlestick maker. Just let people be. Just leave them the fuck alone. God damn it. Anyways, what the fuck happened there? But I just get so pissed off sometimes. Who doesn't, right? So this thing is not for everyone, this trading thing, because you're really taking a risk. So yeah, I'm in this. So the anti-Creel thing, like, Jesus Christ. And then the guy's like, well, you want me to do a scan for you? I'm like, I don't think so. I just couldn't hang. So I was asking him questions. He wouldn't answer. I'm like, did you do this, do that? What type of tickets are you trading? No answer. So he just was trying to. Anton's got this thing where people buy his course because he says he's a professional master stuff. There's an interview with him, a 5-minute interview where he's talking about what traders aren't going to want to hear, and he goes into this thing about you got to have your life be like you're trading. It's like, you can't have any friends if you're a trader. Okay, maybe if you're working, right? If you're working, like I'm writing code here, I can't have a beer with you right now. Sit down. That's true, right? You can't blend. So people are attracted to that, and he's professional. He's claiming this professional mastery thing. Everybody's claiming that. He's charging $2,900. Okay, if you're gonna have somebody calling you on the phone and you have to hold somebody's hand, I guess that's what you're paying for. I don't know if he's gonna hold your hand. But I just can't, to watch that is just not. It's like somebody showing you, I'm going to make you a good guitarist in about 3 weeks. You're going to be playing just like Jimi Hendrix. Okay, you know what? I've seen these people you'll see them on YouTube. Some hot chick playing Jimi Hendrix. Like, I'm not impressed. Where's your tune? It's like blackface for musicians. Come on, stop it. Stop this. I'm going to pose as a musician. Anyways. So here's the ones I did launch. Before the market closed, I ran in there, and there's the sell side of that too. But notice the weekly expiration. This is, if you're not careful about when they expire, you're going to get crushed. So if this was going to last for 15 minutes, this would be 2 pips deep, 4 pips deep, 6, 8. See, all you'd have to do is change the time frame of that to 1 hour, and this is appropriate for, market could go, how? So also the guy had on there ATR, and this is the thing that just I had to leave when the guy said, he says candlestick trading, he says Steve Neeson, and I read those books and that was a scam, or like I don't get it. And I said there's trades for candlesticks, and I'm going to show you in a minute. It's obvious now that I've thought about it and I traded it. I just thought I get it now. I get the message that candlesticks are sending me. That no other, it's a dramatic example of open to close, which really what it is a close to close chart. So where it closed and where it's going to close again. Has it moved in 4 hours up or down? That's all the thing. And how far has it moved? It didn't move very much. Get in with tight stops. If it moved really big, get in with big stops. Okay, the market's telling you on a bar by bar basis what the next trade is. Also on a big bar, you could put on a tight hedge. It doesn't matter. You're going to have to trade. I'm going to have to trade about 200K a day and lose 20K of that to 40K on that on getting stopped out. Now, if I get really big in a small zone and I have my targets that are way out there because I know, this is going to explode, I've got to do that in advance or I'll be moving my targets up. If I say I'm half out of the position, then I can start dragging my targets up. Or I can just, every hour, I can just get out of 20K, 20K, 20K. Now, if you're an all or nothing person, or if you want to accumulate a position, have it go to an area and dump the whole thing, right? So that's peace of mind. You dump it, you bank it. If that's the case, come back in with shallow limits that last an hour, slightly deeper limits that last 8 hours. You're going to put arrays in there, and that's the work. That's what trading is. The market explodes, man. You know the cause of that was congestion. Then it expands. Boom. You got to get out. You got to get out of something, and maybe you've already gotten out too early. So if I put in a bank that says, oh, I'm just expecting a 20, maybe 30 pip move here, and it goes 50 pips, I'm like, all right, well, but I'm out. I'm out clean. You know, that's going to feel like, oh, I wish I would have stayed in that one. Just like you wish you would have got in the one that you missed the entry. You're always going to wish. But if you have limits pending out there, you can make money from that strategy. There's no one strategy. What's your strategy? It's threefold. Market, stop, limit. Stop says, I'm trading breakouts. I don't want to babysit this thing. I don't know what these fuckers are doing, but I want to be in when it explodes. I could put non-directional hedges in. I could non-directional breakouts, or I could put directional breakouts. If they pick me up, stop me out. I'm getting in with a stop of 8, 16, 12 pip stops, 20, 8, every fucking stop. Every 1 pip away, every stop, 80K, and the exits are up to 80K. Targets are set from 1 to 80K. Straight out, whatever that is, you could write that script. And you could press a button that puts in a 10K of that. In the United States, directional trade, maybe 3 limits to the sell, 3 limit sells, tight, in case they kick you out. Right. So what I'm talking about, it's like painting a painting. You're going to put in like line to establish this area. The market's going to move. Okay, the market's telling you all the time what to do. Every 4 hours it's saying, okay, get in here. Okay, get out. Okay. The market moves really hard. And here you are. You're in the I got the squirrel out here killing me. He's distracting me. I'm going to get a gun. So the way I see it is there's always an opportunity. I'm not waiting. I don't have the patience. Fuck this shit. I want to get in something now. Let me get into a fucking hedge if I have to. So this my new thing I'm testing is the hedge thing. And I put on hedges when the market's doing nothing. It's making money because I'm establishing a position when nobody's willing to. I mean, most people that are waiting for confirmation. So the guy talked about this engulf pattern. And if I hear one more motherfucker talk about buying the engulf, I'm going to jump out the fucking window in the basement. You should be in that trade. And this is when I had to leave the room. When he said, oh, you got to have confirmation. Like, what are you, fucking unprofessional trader? I'm like, bye. You don't have a clue. If you don't take an unconfirmation trade, if you wait for everything on confirmation, I saw the guys in the no nonsense went long and captured the last bar in the rally of something that was coming up into the resistance. Yeah, they finally got on the train after we had already scooped out every fucking stop on the large time frames. These guys are like, yeah, well, there's a lot of volume, and they're trading the end of wave 3, you fuckers. God damn it. Get in, but see, nobody's willing to take that risk. These guys are trading, you caught a little bit of wave 3. You're a genius. Dude, the money's getting in against these fucking... especially the money's getting in when the market's not doing anything. Then it moves. Holy shit, I just made money. That's crazy. Even though I got stopped out of the wrong leg. Non-directional breakout trading. Market goes sideways. Just get in. Both directions. Now, you could get at the market both directions with a stop. You could get in a buy stop and a sell stop. That's confirmation. You need more confirmation. I'm not going to get in 10 pips above me. I'm going to get in 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 5.5, 6. 6 is about my limit. The 6 pip entry stop on a buy stop has to have protection at like 10 pips. Whereas if I get in 2 pips away, I might have 5 pip stop on that. And if they're all the same size, which is not available everywhere, if they're all the same size, how many times am I going to put that in? If the market's drifting down and I start to build a hedge on stops only, in other words, I'm not pressing a button that puts a buy stop and a sell stop. It's drifting down. I'm pressing a button that I know. It's a hotkey on my cherry keyboard, and I just go buy stop every hour. Buy stop. Now this is work. The market's drifting down. You hire somebody or a robot to sit there and just keep stacking up these buy stops, and the quieter the market gets, well, the smaller the body of the candle, you hit another key for that. You have a small body key and a smaller body, a tiny body key. Okay, this is where it gets complicated. If you really want to make max dollars, you have those stack up, and you're like, okay, this is a very tight zone. Now, three strategies are running: the tiny body, the small body, and the teeny tiny body. So you are trading. There's no scanning. You don't have to do a scan for me. I'm looking at the last 4 hours. That's all the data I need for that mechanical trading plan. Now, the overall structure of the whole chart in context, maybe 40 bars back. Does that matter? No, not really. Now it should matter. No, it does matter as far as where are we going. So when I talked about the holes in the market where the market hasn't been, the lack of price left behind, the vacuum, the void, the abyss, what I'm referring to is, if you look back for structure support, once it starts to go into fresh prices, which means the vacuum, the hole, the void, whatever you want to call this, liquidity, people are freaking out, then, because there's no, when they did depeg the Swiss franc, who's coming in to buy that? And were they waiting for the dust to clear? They're waiting for the spreads to tighten, I'm sure. I'm sure when that market dropped, the ask was not well, you're not seeing the ask at the bottom of that chart, don't forget. The spread was probably mind-blowing. The spread was probably 500 pips on certain brokers when they did depeg the Swiss franc. It's not like you could have bought the bottom of that even if you tried. You're looking at a bid chart. There's no way. All these candles that you see are bid. So it's very deceiving. Anyways, let me go to the ones I did put in the market here. So here's the trades I did do. And how about that retracement on the euro? We finally filled the hole on that puppy. It looks like the next place to get in is this pound to the euro. And this is a wick trader's dream. This is actually a market that's really good for this script of psychosis. Of course, what do we got here for the closing spreads? I'm going to put my cloud on, my magic cloud, with the 25 pip grid. And I have this thing I added called scale. So it's fighting me, but it's doing an auto ruler and giving me 20 pips of free space on the top and bottom here. So when I go, if the market's tanking, I'm not up against the chart. Okay, so here, let's go to the 4-hour chart. So on the 4-hour, maybe this isn't a good template. So let me go to just the closing price thing. I was going to talk about the candlesticks, but I'm going to get to the candlestick thing. Here, I'm just going to talk about this trade here on this, which I think is a great trade. I don't think I'm in this one. I think we could still go lower. So here's the thing. This is a 25 pip winner. Closing spread's only 10 pips here, so not as brutal as those other ones. But what if we bought this price? Now here you would have under-traded it had you run these scripts. I'm buying in that script I'm buying every 20 pips, and this is a 25 pip grid. So maybe you want to run a 25 pip grid for your 25 pip scripts, just so you can see, or in your mind you can see here that if I put in the this is why you'd want to trade maybe with on this currency pair because of the way it is right now. And here's the scan. Here's my version of a scan. Sure, this thing could drop here, but this is people that do ATR 14. This big drop here has to be calculated into the formula of that. And the drama of this is so profound that there are people that bought here and they're just loading into that, and they will wait. They will swing trade that and wait for this thing to retrace to here now. If you wrote a script and you drop this in front of the market every day it's dropping, and you did run that one that I just did with the 140 pip stop, so it's down heavy, and you start all week long at the end of every day, and maybe they blow out that script. Don't forget, if they blow that out, and at the end of the day you could put another rack. So right now you would have been accumulated right now. They didn't take out your stop that's 140 pips deep, or whatever that script is, right? So, or otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to, by hand, you're going to put in a stop you're going to buy here with a 200 pip stop, buy here with a 200 pip stop, right? However you want to write that script, you're still in something here, and you're only kind of scalp out of those tickets. So I guess it's like an ultimate grid trading system on limits, because same thing you would have done here. Sell limit, sell limit, sell limit, but you didn't fill much of that rack. Right, you press a button for the week, and you just have it so it's got a 300 pip stop, and it's willing to sell, 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 sell. Now, most people aren't going to think like that. Who's risking this much money off this first ticket? Imagine a master stop up here, and your put sell limits in, and your take profit is down here. That is a good trade. How is that not? And actually, in this brokerage account, it's going to martingale into this. So by here, you're in so fucking heavy. You're not stopped out. There's enough money in the account. This is a huge risk, but look at the rewards. So if you do, what I do is I put in sell limit, stop. They stop me out. Sell limit, stop. They don't stop me out. But I'm not. I'm going to go I'm going to go beyond that. Sell limit, all one case. And my stops are, say, like this, and I have some stops that I've been stopped out of. But then my second weapon is it's up. I'm selling at the market. My market system's running on top of my limits. It's up, I sell at the market. It's up, I sell at the market. 2 sells at the market. I also have my sell limits coming in a 50 pip area here, 75 pips. Maybe I did get stopped out of some of these, but I know this is the window. The crusher window is this. If we ever make it to here, we know there's more sellers here than there could ever be. At this hole. And we never make it to here. We never make it. We kind of make it to this. We also make it to this double bottom becoming a top also. People that bought there thinking it's going to the moon, boy, they're like, wow, I can't believe we. In other words, they survived this whole run. They're like, oh, let's get out. Okay, everybody. There is no trend line here to trade off of. It breaks that. That's why people say, well, trend lines don't work, because look it broke it, and then it went down after all. Okay. Hopefully not basing. If you're going to trade this part of the chart when the market's here, yeah, you know what? That doesn't matter anymore. Besides, you missed your entry here where breakout pull back. You were supposed to buy this pullback. I love how people, it's like the fake news. People just like to bend this shit to fit. It's crazy shit, man. I was watching videos today on Forex. Look up Forex trading update, the most recent stuff. So yeah, I mean, on closing prices, we break this trend line, we come back, we retest. This is where you would buy. Plus, you've already got a new trend line started. But this trend's not going to the moon. It's taking a ride into this notch. Big buying opportunity in here. I don't need a moving average to tell me where the stops are. Can't you see where people's stops are stacking up? You're going to buy their stops off them. I know. Liberal tears. Put them on my gun. Well, you're buying people's stops? What are you doing? Oh, you're mean. Them's retail traders in there. Yeah, I know. I'm just such a mean trader. That's why, it's tough for people. So, see all these guys you're watching on No Nonsense, I get a signal. They're long. I'm like, I should be near the end of this move. We're coming up in a counter trend move. Yeah, fade a goober, fade a no nonsense guy, swing trader, but they're all short there. I saw some guy going, yeah, I'm short dollar Swiss. I'm like, you're short now? Wow. Oh yeah, there was another 20 pips left on the table. But maybe he's staying in there with a big, I don't know what these people are doing, honestly. I just think that this trend trading idea, the no nonsense, is based this thing on trend trading. If you can trend trade, you must be good at it. These trends are they're so time based. He's on the daily chart trend trading. If you built an algorithm, you should be able to go and so-called scan or look at the cloud on the 4-hour. You should be able to trade that. Come on. It's not possible. It doesn't make sense that you wouldn't be at least going to the 4-hour chart. Okay, maybe not the 1 minute chart. Okay, if you can see the spread, you're in trouble. And I always turn my spread on here in the properties. I always turn this on. I always turn on period separators and get rid of that stupid grid. I put up my own grid. Let's go on to the candlestick chart thing. Candlesticks. I made this using my bar. I made a skinny bar of my own. And I just have the candlesticks on there so I can go from candles to bars, which there is no bar selected in properties. So I have it so that it just makes the bar not that important. Under colors, I just turn this to no color on up and down bar, but the bodies are black and white. So let's say we're going to trade candlesticks here. What are we going to do? Let's turn on the candles and let's do a trade plan. If we see a small down candle, we're going to get in really big with, I put a 50 pip grid on here, by the way. This is the pound CAD with the brutal closing spread of, oh shit, what is the spread on this beast? It's bad. It's not that bad. It's not 50 pips. I can barely see it here. I can't see the spread, so I'm going to say it's like 6 pips or something. 10 maybe. All day long. So here, let's take a look at this. What is the trade plan? So, like I said before, without regard to the context of where these candles appear in the landscape of what's happened, the structure of what's happened previously, I'm just trying to emphasize the bodies here. So imagine there is no wick that you can look at. And you're not looking for breakout trades at this point. You're literally looking for market order trades. At the end of the day, this is daily trading candlesticks. How to trade daily candlesticks, I guess I should call this portion of the video. Sponsored by the Wickmasters. Wickmasters Tobacco. Guaranteed to be stronger than Camel filterless. Yeah, this give me some of that, what is it, the cool cigarette, the outlying menthol. Too many people are enjoying mint flavored ice cream. So I think that we have the large body trade and we have the small body trade and the teeny body trades. Let me go for the teeny bodies first. The easiest to see. We have a teeny down. I'd buy that. A teeny down, I'm buying that. I'm going counter trend at the last gasp of the move of those people. We have a teeny up one. I'm going to sell. I got stopped out of that maybe. Now, but these are market orders. Don't forget these are market orders. Only teeny down, I buy. Teeny up, I sell. Teeny down, I buy. Teeny up, I sell. Teeny down, I buy. Or tiny. Teeny's smaller than tiny. And so, see what's going on? So, here there is no signal. This is the daily chart. But why don't you do yourself a favor and go to the forward chart and get in on a rally inside of this day? Well, I'm waiting for my ATR to be 1.5% of the Google search menu on countries of what? Well, it's fundamental analysis blended in with technical analysis. It's really working out great. Now let's imagine the non-directionals traders. What are they doing? Non-directional hedge breakout systems. They're trading more. They're getting more signals, and they're making more money. How's that? Well, they put a buy stop 10 pips above and a sell stop 10 pips below on this entry. So they get this trade, they get this trade, and they make this. They also get on this trade, they kind of get trapped. And I'm talking about an 80K array on the north and south of various things. So you kind of make a little money there. If you stayed with it, you made money till here. Now you put on another non-directional trade. And instead of you thinking maybe it's going to go up, like I said, there is no signal here. But you have a small body reason to get in. The size of the body and the direction of the body. So if I said I'm only going to buy teeny sell-offs, I'm only going to buy teeny sell-offs. Where this happens contextually, it is coming underneath. Now I am going to step into the world of the wicks now. This is support. This doji is happening below support. In other words, this is like, well, get the fuck in that. Besides, it's a double bottom. There's so many fucking reasons to get in there. Stop this ATR shit. If I hear it one more time, I'm talking, I don't know what you call this. True body. If this is just true range, that's true body. Get my indicator. True body entry. Also available. And then, so look at the void that's forming here, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to say this void doesn't exist anymore. From a market profile standpoint, we're looking back into the market. We don't see any prices here for a while. We also don't see any prices here for a while. We also see this wedge, which is part of, right, this forms, this is the new void that's forming underneath on an angle, so that hence the triangle, right? But this is what completes the triangle when it backfills into there. It comes back to the dojis. Dojis are pivots. You don't need a pivot calculator. You don't need a pivot scanner. You don't need anything like that. Also, when we break above this wick and we pull back, people are like, well, the confirmation traders. So I saw this guy today doing a trade where he sells up into this thing. He sold 1,200,000. He was in 3 standard lots per ticket, 4 tickets. He sells up into this on the 15-minute chart, comes back, and he won't reveal. I won't tell you how to do it. And these people are all baffled. So cute. I go, dude, all you do is sell the high of that for the scalp back to here, right? But then look at at the end of the day, we are here, small body. Everybody's in on that. Either direction. And if they have, okay, why is the market going up? Another reason why it's going up. The guy that gets in on a non-directional trade here, or even the guy that gets in here thinking it's going to keep tanking into this hole, he's got buy stops to protect his giant sell position, so that fuels it. Everything fuels it. There's a trade plan for these. The non-directional guys are going to make more money. They're trading a little bit more frequency, right? Non-directional. You're going long just because. You're going short just because. You're getting filled to the short side. Yeah, you're being trapped in a few trades, but you're not putting in buy stop here The market's here. Sell stop here. This is 10 standard lots with one stop to the one stop. Sorry. Let me start over. You're not doing this, I hope. This is where people completely lose what I'm saying. You put a buy stop here, 4 pips above current price. This is the current price, the going rate. Right? It's here. Here it is moving along, current prices, right? Then you put in a sell stop here. The stop for this trade is up here, let's say. That covers that ticket. For this trade to go long, buy stop here, protection for that trade is here. Now, in a completely symmetrical world, if the market should, here's a strategy that's so simple, right? Triggers the buy. You're going up. Confirmation. And if you put a timer on these trades, in a little bit of time, it's going to come in. Oh, I fucked that up. Let me do that again. So here's current price, right? You're trolling along here. You put in your buy stop. Protection for that is here. Take profit is up here, pre-programmed. That is the buy side of the hedge. The sell side is sell stop. Here's the stop for that. And this is a whole nother world, where those going to be. But they have to be, okay, I'm just showing one standard lot per side and why that won't work. I don't care what you do. That's not going to work. Maybe you do a bunch of these. Because some of them are just, they're going to double fill you. So the take profit for this is going to be down here, say. Right? So the ratios have to be even better for this to make money. So here comes the market. We're going along. And here's the evil banks. But this time they're your friend. You get filled long. You hit your target. You never get stopped up. There's your ratio. Well, what happens when the evil banks, the market manipulators, those motherfuckers come in and they fill your buy stop and your sell stop? Your buy entry and your sell entry. Then they expand it. They stop you out of both of those. You never see your take profit, and you're trapped. And I could show you that that's what's going to happen if you... that just has to happen a couple times, and you've given up everything you ever made on the clean breakout, right? So I hope that's obvious. We don't need to back test that. What we need to do is find out how many tickets we can put in with tight stops, how many tickets we can put in wide stops, and is this tradable on the currency pair that we're trading? Because this is a 50 pip grid. And let me tell you, if you were in the United States and you were in Oanda, you would have a buy market that said 1K and 2K and 3K. So I could write those. Buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the market. When you are here at this moment in the United States on the 4-hour chart, on the daily chart, you got all day to get into this trade. This could be even considered trend trading, but I'd call it breakout trading into this zone because it broke out, it pulled back confirmation on the doji. Yes, this candle has a trade. You should be looking for an entry. When you see this small candle, could that be coming up against previous support? Forget that wick. Look at the close. Look at the bodies. Just focus on the bodies. Doji to doji, right? This is a big deal. And look at it creep towards the vacuum. Uh-oh. Whoa, volatility is drying up too. How do I know volatility is low? Do I need an ATR scanner? God, if I do, I fucking need it. I'm retarded. How did I make it to my computer? When you see this lack of volatility, here's your volatility indicator, small body. You don't need anything else. Come on. Are you buying here? fuck? Are you nuts? I'm not buying that. If anything, I'm selling one at the market on close. It's so funny. This thing could probably gap down. They held the vote. Everybody's panicking and closing out there. Oh, God, the Brexit drama. Jesus Christ. Enough already. Here's your fucking big structure. Double top. Break out. Come back. But, you know, I don't really think that even this double top is not the reason why the market did what it did there. I used to look at that and say, okay, this is a pivot, but, you know, this pivot's too old to matter now. It doesn't matter anymore. I saw a guy today talking about this. You can make that claim, but what's really going on, in my opinion, is I think I might have a delete all objects running here. Oh, shit, I guess not. Here, let me go down and delete these objects. So, here, let me go in here. Delete all objects. Okay. I got to kind of refresh here to get another structure going. All right. So here we go. What to me, all that matters when I'm buying this, if I'm going to buy this thing on pullbacks, limit grids, this is a 100 pip window. On a big down candle, let's talk about big down candles. Maybe I do buy here, but I'm like, uh-oh, I'm not going to buy that big down candle because this is the looming abyss. Let's see how we fill that first. But what I would do is, I'm not going to buy that at the market. I'm going to put buy limits in here, see? And I'm going to put them all the way down to here and buy limits in here. And these are bigger tickets. This is my light fill. I've got to stop down here. I've got to stop down, stop. And if you get good at this, you only lose about 3 tickets. And if you're really going to be conservative, you're going to put buy limits every 10 pips, but you're not going to get filled on the bottom rack. And maybe your stop's here, or maybe you have a conservative stop. But there's a trade here. It's a big down bar trapped beneath this floor. It's below resistance. We're going to get in heavy. We're going to get in, when I say heavy, it's a 1K, but when I say heavy, I mean a wider stop. The bigger it's down, the wider stop you're allowed to run. Like here, you sell that, but are you going to sell that? Maybe you're cashing out, but look out, because this hole is about to fill. And when they see they rip through there, and that's when the top becomes that bottom. I don't know if I'm just blowing through this too fast, but what I'm saying is, in a big up bar situation, if we sell at the market and this gap down in your favor, this is another probably going into the weekend. Are they going to have another Brexit vote? I heard the Canadians are going to stop making beer. It's just filling this hole, see? When it fills that, and you're able to sell into that, it comes below that to here. So it's just stop hunting people. See, this is a bigger hole than this hole. It's falling in. It's breaking out. Breakouts are breakouts into, they call it a breakout. Got out of jail. You're buying at the market because it's down. Now here is where everybody, not everybody, but not only are you in that, the smart money, the winning, the people that make money. That's what they mean by smart money. The dumb money got in on a breakout. Here, well, broke out. I'm going to get in this breakout. I'm going to keep going. Okay, that would be the dumb money. The smart money says it's a daily chart. Where are we at? I have it. Maybe the smart money has a stop here. The smart money also has to have a buy there. So this is why people are saying, well, it's contradictory. Of course, but it's all size-based, time-based, frequency-based. How many currency pairs are you trading this strategy on? And you can see these setups happening around the pound in unison. It's just, you want to get the instrument with the tightest spread because you want to get something off the table as you break out. So you're at the market. Now comes the hedges. The non-directional traders are cleaning up. The people that, and I'm counter-directional trading. In other words, if I buy a small, tiny down and get in heavy, I'm getting in because of the small body. The direction I choose is because I consider it to be a pullback. If it's going down, I could say, well, look, I know there's long-term support here. This matters the first time around, but this doesn't matter anymore. This doesn't matter into the future. All that matters now is we could have a sell-off stop hunt here. This ain't going to keep going to the moon. We could have a beautiful closing doji, small body. We get in, hammer, whatever you call these, small body. I'm not paying attention to the wick because you're just going to have to ignore that wick. You just got to bite the bullet. You can't worry about these wicks. Your limits are going to pick those up. And you could have sell limits here. Sell limits, sell limits, you're selling up into that. But you're going to also trade against yourself. Another thing people don't want to do is contradict themselves. But you have to. Because you got to be flexible enough to put on the non-directional hedge here and go, oh boy, I don't know if this is the sell. I don't think it's going to do a trap, engulf, and come all the way back. Well, it did it here. It doesn't do it every time, right? This trap, right? This is another reason why you would never try to back test this stuff. Well, it broke out here, and I got in on this doji here, thinking we're gonna, you know what? No, that was the trap there. They take it to here. You missed this trade. If you're trading with a 50 pip stop, you miss this entry, a 25 pip window to make 50 pips. That's where that trade lives. But there's a bigger version of that trade that has more pips involved. When they come back into here and they come into this little cove, buyer's window, look at the seller's window. It's huge, 75 pip seller's window. You get filled on limits there. You're constantly having to change your approach. You're landing a plane in a storm. You've got to keep changing your approach. Here I'm putting sell limits. How dense, how many stops, that's going to be work. You got to figure that out. But I'm not going to buy here. I missed the entry. What am I, fucking retarded? I'm not gonna chase that shit. Fuck these Forex. This smart, shut up, you're against the smartest traders in the world. Step back, Jack, you are trading. Well, just sit down a minute. Let me explain something to you, son. This my dad used to give me. I have a lot of experience. But you know what? That doesn't mean you know what the fuck you're doing. Maybe that's why I'm such an angry person. I was raised by people that are like, well, I read it in the newspaper. Son, they would not write it. You sit down a second. They wouldn't write it in the newspaper unless it was true. Now shut up. Go out and cut the lawn. I know you're allergic to grass, but go out and cut the lawn, son. Oh, man. I tell you what, a lot of this comes, so a lot of the things, psychologically speaking, trading, I'm very stubborn and I'm very, my ego's hungry. So I'm like, I want to figure this out. I'm not looking for too much. I don't really appreciate when people say, "Oh, nice." I'm like, no, it's not that great. I guess I'm not thinking that's that great. And I guess if I thought it was that great, I'd be selling it because it'd be like it's flawless. But there's so many bugs in here. I just realized one of these indicators doesn't work, and I just wouldn't feel right selling something. I'd have to go debug it. Debugging's the whole world. I don't want to think about it. But look at this non-directional entries here. Yeah, candlesticks do work. I'm sorry. You just don't know how to trade them with what they're telling you. And this is a 50 pip grid. Let's just talk about that for a minute. This is 50 pips on this currency pair. And all these no-nonsense guys watch this pound CAD. You got to just trade with like 100, 150 pip stops. I mean, wow. You got to trade more than one ticket, in my opinion, because you could have cleaned up here. You could have got in, non-directional, made money here. You're up. And maybe you're already out. Maybe you got exits here. I would have exits here to sell. But then would you sell here for a pullback to here? No, I don't think so. Could you have sold this high and made money back to here? Yes, because we did come back to here. After we trapped the breakout, the turtle traders buy new highs. They buy high and they sell higher. They buy this breakout and they cash out. They buy here, and they're you can say, oh, these turtle traders are killing it, don't you see? They sell this new low. They sell. Okay, but the guy that's accumulating a long position against him is also making money because he's buying that. He's imagine all the different people trading this chart and all the winning trade strategies just on this chart alone, right? You gotta imagine what is the appropriate trade for the candle you have just seen. If you sell at the end of the day, you made 100 fucking pips. If you rode that out, now granted, if you put in a 50 pip stop, they stopped you out. But if you sold at the end of the day with a 100 pip stop, you made 75 pips, right? Everybody can see that trade. If you sell every time it's up, sell. When you sold here, the next day you could have cashed out, right? Well, people are like, well, you sold here, they're just killing you. You think I didn't scalp out of something? What am I, nuts? If I bought here, you think I didn't scalp out of something by here and take my 50 pips? Sure, it went flying up. I could have just bought at the end of the day and held it with a stop down here and not, right? Think about it, right? It's up a little bit. Now here's another market order trade. It's up a little bit. I think it's going down. Sell with a stop here. Well, you could have just rolled that down. Or maybe I put a sell stop here, buy stop here. I get it. I'm in the same trade that you're in, that you sold at the market, but big down. Sell at the market. Now here you did not make money on this. You bought. Now you buy again. Here's where, okay, your trade strategy changes every day based on the end of the day. So no nonsense. If he wants to trade daily charts at the end of the day, I recommend candlesticks for him and stop with the trying to build a scanner or a seeker or a dashboard or a, oh, it looks like it's cloudy today. So, I mean, I've got some weather station running. Yeah, this would be the day to play golf. Anyways, I hope that settles it. I could go on forever, but I think hopefully you see my point. You've got to imagine all different strategies. Selling new highs, does that work? The turtle traders are getting burned here. They're buying new highs. Uh-oh, that's not so good. Sell limit guys are like, it's a trap. This is probably maybe just nicked the high of some week. That's daily chart, don't forget. And the doji guys, they're long into that. The non-directional traders are long into that. They got to know where's their exit. Where are the other guys coming in? If you bought this thing because it was a small body, you put on a hedge. So let's just go to chart. Let's just go fly through some charts. Very quick and dirty scanning. Here, I'll do a scan for you. Look at palladium. It's crushing the world. This is why the dollar's going to hell. Look at this. It takes a lot of dollars to buy palladium. Oh, supply and demand. I'm surprised this no nonsense hasn't even talked. He's talking about metals. Dude, this is a metal. Palladium's a big deal. Why is it so high priced? Is it in demand? You know, no nonsense. Just you can't even fucking believe it. Does he even spend any time on his fucking production? Why even do a thing? His content is fucking zero. He's overproduced. He's overproduced. Got this bullshit intro on the metals of some guy making. He's doing some cultural slur stuff in the beginning. Like, yeah, bro. Just no nonsense. How about he's so white? He's so white that's like it's unbelievable. That's another problem. He needs to get like him and Pip Society get a prop firm going. A segregated prop firm. Because the segregation, that's another brilliant idea. We'll send the white kids to downtown. My parents were like, not on our watch. I think you'll be going to the private school in town here. But the private schools are like, thank God they came up with that law. These private school owners are going, well, better hire some more admission staff. Governments try to micromanage the society again. It's the nice thing about forex is over the counter, unregulated. People should love that. And manipulated. Thank Jesus. Well, they're manipulating this platinum because I've been selling this. I mean, this palladium. I've been selling into this thing, and I can't fucking believe I'm getting crushed on this trade. What the fuck? They're manipulating the markets. Gonna hear me put in my template. I have a wick list template. Here's interesting. So here's my wick list template. This will also take out the ambiguity for you. Let's look at the entries from the directional entries, buying small bodies in what's considered to be a monthly uptrend. And why selling double tops can be a failure. Here's a double top. Closes to here, you sell, but see how the little pullback here? People are like, oh, whips in you. And I'm just going to tell you right now, as far as I know, palladium's never been this high. That's 12. That's $1,500. Wow. I talked about this thing months ago, and I'm like, oh boy. Now here's kind of a nice sell on the monthly. Slight dead cat bounce, but boy. If you just buy pullbacks, so you're only buying down candles. Buy. Here is the ultimate. You're going to get in heavy here because it's a very small body. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just stretch this out a little bit. So the scale fixer. I saw a thing I want to try. MT5 has this scale thing that's supposed to do a time price scale. This is one of the big problems with these markets is they take off so hard. But looking back here, this little and of course this 50 pip grid doesn't work out too good on this palladium. It's like 50 cents or it's like $5 I think on here maybe. It's like $5. This is a monthly chart. I don't know. It could be $50. I'm not sure. I can't even see the fucking numbers. But look at that. And then here is the other entry. So you can barely see it, but that's just bodies only. So the bodies matter. Look at this one. Underneath here, I'd say. Another small body entry. Here's a top become a bottom. No top become a bottom. We do revisit. Notice we revisit the small body, though. We never come back to this small body. So another simple thing. And here is the line of scrimmage. We break out. Don't even pull back. We do inside the weekly, I'm sure. But look at that thing scream and then up and up. And here's another instance of like non-directional. Here you would have just killed it. Here's non-directional, but here's the ultimate non-directional, and it's screaming up. $170 off of that. Still screaming north. I think 1800. I don't know. I don't see any more history on this. I'm pretty sure we're in uncharted waters here. So, what else we got here? What's my other system? Let's see. I got another. Okay, here's all the orders I dropped at the end of the day. I put just, we're going up, so I'm selling into it. Wait a second. Shit. What the fuck? I gotta put on a, oh my gosh, here. I want to zoom into this a little bit. So because it's going up, I got that fixed scale in there, so I'm going to have to zoom out to see the entry, but I'm selling up into that hole basically. And this is before I rewrote the script, so it says 1Ks. It's supposed to be actually get progressive on that, so they're going to kick me out of one of those tickets, or they won't let me sell anymore is what's going to happen, which is bad because it kind of ruins it. I got a master stop at the top of that. You can barely see it. 4 hour you can see it maybe. Gonna zoom in just to track it down here. This is the problem. These markets move right off the chart. So you can see at the very top we got the so this has a ruler built in. It's putting in a, let's see, here was the very last low. Big down. So you're buying into this hole, and now it's engulfing. right? So if this is a 5-minute chart and you want to trade the 4-hour engulf, you need to buy this crush down. So you're buying into here. You need to be long during the engulf. When the engulf's happening, then you get out, right? So I'd be getting out. I'd be selling here. So this will last all week, and I'm going to drop another one of these. So that way, when the market opens, I'm going to do the same trade plan, and every day I could keep putting sell limits. So that's what I'm going to do. This guy asked me to write these two, so I'm going to run them on this thing, see what we get. I'm going to change the comments, though, in there so I can keep track of when these trades were triggered. So I'm going to rewrite the comments in here. I suggest that you do if you want to keep track of your antics. Here, you put in the sell. You put the name of that, whatever we're going to call it, is weekly swing trade. You could call out the exact entry price. So even on the platform, I think you're allowed about 20 characters in this comment window. It's going to show up. And here it just happens to say that right now, which is not maybe what you want to see. Inside the platform, you see the there's all the buy and sell limits. Although they're not 30 minutes, that's the commentary. If you turn off the commissions, which I typically do because I don't want to see that. I wish I could turn off that swap. That'd be beautiful. Because it's taking up space here, and I have my monitor set to like 720 because I just trying to trade. I'm not trying to watch a movie. I don't need all those pixels. Actually, less would be more here, but somebody asked me about changing the font in Windows. If you go into Windows and you do force the font, you will see bold. You'll see this might get bolder. You can also change the color background of that, but the problem every time you edit in Windows, the way MT4 picks up those changes could look a little bit kind of crazy. I should do a color change on this. This is my laptop backup been on for a while. So this, I guess I just kind of fell off the grid. Another one I put on was this one. I went very short up into this again. I'm selling into new highs, coming into this one got filled maybe. I got filled on one ticket here. I did the same thing here. This is Swiss versus yen. I don't know who trades this, but this is an obvious sell to me. So I threw these on 1 hour before the market closed. I could also put buy limits, but I like the idea. I think we could probably get filled on the sell side first from a limit entry standpoint. Here I didn't get this trade on. I should have put on here sell limits above. That would have been an obvious choice. Put my candles on this one. This is another variation of candles, kind of a big, kind of a chubby wick on these, emphasizing the wick here. Look at this move here. So here are the non-directional traders once again. 1 hour chart. You're punching the non-directional hedge here. This is a 25 pip grid. Boom. Maybe you did have sell limits up there. Those are winners, so they stop hunt that. Then they come back here and they take out this low. This is what befuddles people. This is probably what really pisses off people. They buy here. They go, love that trade. Look at it. It's working. Then they're like, wait a minute. They fucking just stopped. I put a stop in here. I got in here in 1 hour. I'm sorry. They're like, buy and hold. It's going my way. And then they come back and stop hunt this guy. Ouch. But if you're one of those evil capitalists, you could just put your buy limit there and go, oh, well, I didn't even notice. Sorry, buddy. And then all this kind of topic come about. It was an hourly chart, by the way. So, you know, after they pull back into this, and this is but look at that, 1 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour time frame. By the way, I want to get these tools in the right place. I want to get as much vertical dimension as I can on my chart. So what I do is I go like this. Take these tools and lay them over here. Jesus Christ, man. I can't pick up the edge of that because my recorder's in the way. Let's get these tools to the sides. Get the charts as tall as we can get them, because tallness matters. That's not exactly where I want that. be able to move that, huh? Let's get it away from that thing. Oh, Jesus. That didn't work out. It went down to the bottom. Trying to get it up in this. There. More vertical dimension really does make it easier to see. This is the 25 pips. Now we can build a trade plan. Okay, we're going to get in on a hedge here. 3 hours, nothing. Just put a non-directional hedge on. You don't have to decide the direction. In fact, there'd be 3 robots clinging onto that, just like 3 robots would see these small bodies. It wouldn't see the wicks. So my other criteria for entry for the robot is it just sees this small body and it puts on a trade. Small body puts on a trade. Small body. This is the what time frame? 1 hour chart. So 1 hour chart's a little tough. Let's go to the 4 hour. It's high frequency trading on the 1 hour. You got to babysit it. 4 hour, not so much, right? Here's a small body entry, 8 hours of nothing, non-directional. A little kick out there, but nice money here. Another small body trade entry, little drip down. Here's another small body entry. Here's like very small. Here's a trade. There's a trade. This one finally paid off in both directions. You're going to lose a ticket. So what I said before about nobody would put a buy stop, markets here, nobody put a buy stop here, a sell stop here on a standard lot with an exit here and an exit here and with stops. Because all it takes is one of these. What I'm doing is, the solution is, put a buy stop, buy stop, buy stop, buy stop. Your targets are going to be like this. Target, 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 target. The stops for these targets, they have to be down here. Stop, 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 stop. Whichever way the wind blows. They're going to stop you out of your... You're going to make some money on those early exits, but that goes... they're stopping you out of the when it goes the other way, but you're making up for it, right? And if you do the same trade plan here, 4 hour chart, the daily chart, low frequency, very low frequency, but don't ever put an indicator on a daily chart. You're never going to get these trades going. You're just waiting for utopia. Just go listen to Todd Rundgren. So, it's just not, you're really just killing yourself. But I know people like to do that. So I know, it's just how people are. So they like that. Oh, I worked so hard. And the guy in this Discord is like, I'm really going to study. I'm reading this 5 times to understand it. Dude, you don't need to know about Brent Wood's agreement from Anton Crichton, whatever his name is, Anton Creel. They should give a course on pronouncing his fucking name. Jesus. Anton. You poor thing. So, I'm going to put my closed chart. I like this closed chart. It's nice and clean. So for me, this a zigzag, small zigzags or dojis on here. Where's my time frames? Here, let's get this shit over here too. Up in the corner. Fight that. Okay. Fighting the MT4. So here's the 4 hour with the 25 pip grid. So what I'm talking about, the limit order entries are going to be here. That's the daily chart. I'm sorry, the 4 hour chart. A little more difficult, right? So buy limits here. Buy. You're buying this low as they come stop hunt, the goobers. And you could actually put sell limits here, and you would have made some money there. As we rip back, as you can see the next bar. These trades in here are just so simple off of the 4 hour chart. Here you're buying this. You're always running trailing limits, right? So here, there's a big pocket to fill. Never make it back to here. But look at this is a lonely wick entry, 4 hour chart. Big order bank below here. It's just asking for it. It's asking for orders here. Here they never fill, but you bought this. Nice ratio. 50 pip stops to make 100 pips. Now you're selling into this. Don't forget. You have to be, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yeah, I put some, I'm writing sell scripts now. It's just very clean 10, 20, 30, 40 pips, double clicks that just, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, just stuff. And I just run through that array. So I'm going out in front with the sells, and I will sell at the market at this point and put sell limits above. So you could also make a ticket, that a script where you sell one at the market. It's built into it. It has what you probably you want to do anyways. But you would have to say market and then the time of that trailing, and then it's your, instead of hitting two buttons now, you just hit one button. You want to sell one at the market and one on limits. You sell one at the market, it's up, and one on, and then you have limits trailing maybe for the whole week. Your exposure on the weekly scripts is pretty demanding, right? If you put in, since this is the 4-hour chart, if at the beginning of the week you drop that script I wrote, here we are, we start at the beginning of the week, and you just pile in your limit grid. And you're kind of disappointed that you didn't ride this whole thing because you just got out 10 pips above here. Okay, so that's the script I wrote. I'll just put a link to that buy and sell FIFO. Like the scenario in that script is very simple. It's going to, if you dropped it right now, it looks like this. Here's the market. It's going to buy 20 pips apart. Imagine that's a 20 pip grid. Big stop here. And the target is here. But that bottom ticket's cashing out there. It makes a whole lot of money. I've tested it, and it does. I've run it. It's currency dependent, because if this market rips down, here, this market, you're going to put in 100 pips. You're going to buy every 50 pips maybe, because you cannot afford. This is a 4-hour chart. You cannot afford for this, and you don't have to be there for the trade either. So I'm going to write some daily scripts that are going to have, since this is the 4-hour chart, if I drop that order at this point, I can see that it's about to crush into this hole. So on the 4-hour chart, if I look at it, we're down here, I go, we're going to keep tanking, but I don't feel like selling. I'm going to buy this whole area. And if it's all week, that's fine. If it's all day, that's less risk in a way if I'm not going to get back to my platform. So it's more work to have a daily script. But it's better because if at the end of the day it's gone in this brokerage firm, you're going to be able to say, let's do the same thing, and just to get picked up. And then you can have, you know what, the market's calmed down. Let's run a tighter grid. And this is where the devil's in the details. When the market goes sideways and it's all drifty, now you got to put in shallow grids. That's a decision to make about how far apart should my tickets be for what has just happened. So when the market's very calm here, it's probably going to explode up or down. It actually explodes down. Your limit grid would have been filled here, but your sell limits would have been filled too. And did you anticipate this is going to be a blistering fill? When they get above this, this is such old no man's land. It's just insane. And it never makes it back to here. You don't get a chance to pull back to here. You're stuck with getting in a 40K or a 20K, whatever it need be. You just press the button. Accept the risk and press the button. Okay, so I hope that helps. That's my presentation of the day here.